All right, best ballers, welcome back into another Thursday edition of Fantasy NFL Today in the room. I'm your host, Anthony Quaranta. You can follow me at AQ Fresh. I'm joined by Brian Shade. You can join him at Shade_Fantasy. You could follow us on Twitter at the Ethos Fantasy NFL. You can follow all of our work, my articles, Brian's articles, his projection model over at sportsethos.com. And now, Brian, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome to the Thursday show.
I'm doing well. I'm a new-ish to best ball. I got like 10 drafts in me, so I'm excited to kind of hop in and learn from you and also see if I have any random insights that might be helpful to you. So it should be fun.
Yeah, I feel like so you're newer to best ball. I feel like sometimes that's a good thing, right? You know that meme with like the bell curve where it's like the seemingly like stupid take, and then you get to the top of the peak of the bell curve and it's like smart take. Then you get to the other side of the bell curve and it's like the stupid take now sounds smart. So I feel like there's definitely some of that when it comes to beginners in anything. So I'm sure that you definitely have some points to take away. I know that you we were kind of talking pre-show, and you've drafted more so on DraftKings than Underdog. Well, I do all of my drafts in Underdog, so I'm curious, kind of what's the biggest difference, or one of the biggest differences that you kind of see from each platform.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say to start, it was for me, DraftKings was easy because I already had like the normal betting balance, so it's just easier to get it there, just to kind of try it out, take a few promos. I'd say the biggest differences I saw, I mean, the main one is it's full PPR. So there are running backs like Jalen Warren, who I'm Justice Hill, I loved in late rounds, or it's just like Ty Johnson also, like those guys that are the third down backs that if you go not as heavy running back, you can kind of, those are guys I'm going to look to get a bit more. Also, you have 20 roster spots versus the 18 in Underdog. So I think that it kind of allows you to be a little bit more flexible with your stacks. And when you go for it, and you don't have to worry about, oh, I really want this stack in the middle rounds, but I'm worried I'm not going to be able to get enough running backs to fill out the roster. So it makes it a little easier doing that.
Yeah, it kind of allows you to tack on an extra flyer or two to help you feel better about maybe a room you didn't kind of draft so much in the beginning. So Underdog is pretty wide receiver heavy. So I'm curious, with the full PPR instead of the half PPR, like do wide receivers go like even heavier, or do you notice that some of the pass catching running backs sneak up there a little bit more? Like I know you mentioned Jalen Warren.
I mean, I didn't notice a big difference in like wide receiver. I mean, I'm mostly just like season long. So obviously I'm noticing way more wide receivers are going in best ball in general. I would say like I'm surprised someone like a Brock Bowers didn't go even higher, just because full PPR, you get that safety of a tight end. Like he's almost like a low end wide receiver one if you really think about it, with all the volume he gets. So I'm surprised like someone like him didn't go higher. I did notice quarterbacks. I don't know if it's just people like me who are just wanting to kind of get into best ball, and it's easy because our balances are in the same app, that like you might have a few more newbies versus Underdog where it's pretty specific. This is best ball. So I kind of feel like you have a bit more of that in DraftKings than you do in Underdog.
Okay. That's all interesting. So what's your favorite strategy that you've kind of identified as someone who's just kind of getting into drafting and getting into best ball? What are some strategies you've identified that you at least feel good about your team after you're done drafting them?
I mean, I try to stick to the same kind of strategies I use season long, but maybe cater it. Like obviously stacking is way more important, but like if I can stack on offenses I actually think will be good, I'm going to try to do that. Or if I can stack on offenses where I think their defense is just absolutely terrible, so even if they suck, they still have to throw it. Think of the Browns last year. Like they were terrible, but they still threw it all the time. So you had random Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy games. So I tried to kind of do that. I mean, I did end up with a lot more like late round young quarterback stacks. where it's like Bryce Young with somebody.
Okay.
I got a bunch of tight Chigakonkwo, Cam Ward stacks. It's just I
Okay.
found those really easy to get, and to me that feels like a pretty high upside, given where I'm getting them. I don't have the most faith in Cam Ward, but he's a rookie QB. You never know. Reports are good-ish, so
Yeah. So do you lean then more so towards the kind of late round quarterback, tight ends, and go running back, receiver heavy? Do you ever take any elite quarterbacks or elite tight ends and build that way?
I definitely started out getting way more elite rushing quarterbacks because they fell. Maybe they just fell further than I was used to compared to regular season long.
Okay.
So I first 3 drafts, I ended up with a Josh Allen, a Jalen Hurts, and a Jaden Daniels. So then, like, I was pretty happy about all that because I was like, okay, to me, it felt kind of pretty easy to stack with them. I know what I'm getting,
Yeah.
and I felt good about those. But I also know, like, I don't know, with the running quarterbacks, the benefit of them is kind of the floor, which in best ball you're looking more for ceiling. So maybe I'm wrong for doing that. Only time will tell. But I do think that I do think the running quarterbacks shouldn't be as valued as all the passing. Because if you can kind of take a shotgun approach at 3 pocket passers, I think it works better.
I feel like that's a bit of a contrarian take, right? Because everybody loves the rushing quarterback. Of course, they give you the floor. They also kind of give you that ceiling, right? We look at Lamar Jackson, threw for 41 touchdowns last year, had over 900 rushing yards on top of it, right? So I feel like you saying that 3 pocket passers is your preference is really contrarian, which can be great in best ball because you're probably going to have some pretty unique builds in that way, right? So
Yeah.
who are some of your favorite pocket passers then for best ball?
I have like ranking. I mean, McCarthy.
So you're a big McCarthy fan. I'm assuming you like the Kevin O'Connell offense. Then he'd think he's kind of
It's more O'Connell than it is McCarthy.
Okay.
Like my data model had him way too high just because I use like the offense from previous seasons to kind of adjust that. So then he just ends up looking way too good. So I tried to kind of tamper him down, but he's someone I like a lot. I'm like waiting for Jared Goff to fall a little bit further because I feel like people are definitely down on him, but Dan Campbell's still an offensive mind.
Yeah, I like Jared Goff this year.
But like I feel like that kind of depends on the room you're in. Some people go way too high. I either feel like he goes way too high or I'm like, wow, this feels like a steal with him. So that's another guy I've been pretty high on. Bryce Young, he's somebody who I just feel like this is kind of now or nothing for him, or now or never. So.
And he kind of has a little bit of that rushing upside too, I think, built in. He can scamper around a bit. Probably not as much as obviously, like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, even Jalen Hurts, who doesn't run other than the tush push tremendously often. You're a Steelers or Eagles fan, so maybe I'm just wrong there. But Bryce Young definitely does have that little rushing floor as well. And I agree with you. I think that the Panthers are a really good team to buy low on, and especially Bryce Young. And it's largely because I think of Canales, the head coach, and the things that look what he did for Geno Smith in Seattle. Look what he did for Baker Mayfield in Tampa. I know John and I talked a bit about this during the last podcast, but the Panthers are a good one. So I really like that you brought up Bryce Young. So you kind of mentioned your model a little bit. Do you think that your model is helpful for best ball? Like, are there any, you kind of said maybe making some slight adjustments for McCarthy, you kind of just mentioned. Are there any adjustments that you do need to make when you are doing it for best ball? Like, what is that? How does that work?
I think the model, a lot of it is based on floor. So it's more like, all right, where is where are targets going? Where are rush share going? So if I don't, Cleveland, for the Cleveland quarterback situation, nobody knows who's going to start. So every quarterback, I have 3 quarterbacks taking a third of the snaps.
Okay, yeah, that's clearly it could happen, but probably not. So yeah, if
Yeah, and it's
you
like when you project that out, it's like, all right, now they're all terrible. Maybe one of them
Mhm.
will have a week or two, so that's kind of hard to tell. And then like everyone's so high on Musgrave, I think, Packers tight
You're
end.
talking about Tucker Craft.
Tucker Craft. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Tucker Craft. But like they also have Musgrave at tight end who's been hurt. And then they have like 5 above average, at least wide receivers. So it's like, who's getting the ball? Maybe one of them breaks out. I don't know. Like, I would have been way happier if Tet McMillan went there instead of Matthew Golden, just because Golden's more of like the Deshaun Jackson role, where
Mhm.
it's not. I mean, I guess that's a better best ball guy to go after, but he's not like a very consistent player. He'll have 3 for 90 and then 3 for 90 and a touchdown, or like 2 for 20 and nothing else. Like,
Yeah, and those are the players I like for best ball personally.
yeah,
Because I mean, you get the good weeks and you hate the bad weeks.
yeah,
I could talk about Xavier Worthy in that form, uh, pretty much all day for best ball. He's just got that spike, um, just that spike week potential, and then I just don't. His game just doesn't lend well to me to redraft and for like managed leagues because you just never know when he's going to get that long catch. Um,
yeah. He came on in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, he absolutely did. And I know the Super Bowl, you were probably pretty excited throughout it as an Eagles fan, but I mean, I know a lot of garbage time. He ended up with a crazy stat line, Xavier Worthy
Yeah.
did. And I think that is kind of fueling the hype as well this season too.
Mhm.
So why don't we go ahead and try to jump in? We're gonna do a Best Ball Mania draft today. Brian is going to try to get in as well. So, Brian, let me know when you've got this pulled up and we'll kind of do a little countdown and try to get in the same draft together. And anyone else that's watching wants to pull it up, feel free to follow the countdown and maybe see if we can all get in the room together.
I got it up.
All right, you ready then? All right, so
Yep.
we'll click it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Confirm. And let's see. All right, we're going to be in the same room because we're waiting on 6th. I am at least, but I
I'm waiting
imagine.
on 6 as well. So
Yeah, we're going to be in the same room then. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Let me know, Brian. Can you see that better on the screen there than you could before? I have a problem sometimes because I like to have it zoomed out so I can see more, but I realize on stream like that's not always great, right? Because then the people that are watching on YouTube can't particularly.
yeah, I can see it fine. I have it a bit zoomed out,
Oh,
just
okay,
so I
that's
can
fine.
see the whole screen and everything. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Good. And if you are watching on YouTube, obviously we appreciate it. If you're watching on X, we also appreciate it. Hop over to YouTube. Come get in the chat with us. All of our episodes are available on YouTube, not necessarily X. So you want to make sure that you're catching all the action there. And we are just waiting now for about 45 seconds. I got the second pick, Brian. I don't even know. Oh, you're B Shade 5, I would imagine.
I am. I got
So, all
1-8.
right. 108. So I could tell you at 102, I'm likely to just go Bijan here,
That's safe.
and see what happens. Kind of anchor running back, go from there. What are you thinking as far? And you don't need to talk about specific players, although obviously I'm probably not going to take the guy you're thinking about way down there. But what are your thoughts, kind of as we approach the start of the draft?
I ended up with this a lot. Like 7, 8, and 9 were like my most common picks for the DraftKings I was in. So I definitely kind of picked a good assortment. I mean, I'm really high on Nico, but that feels a little early. But who knows?
Oh, hold on, I got to go Jamar Chase because Saquon Barkley went first. So
All right.
we'll just take the gift of Jamar Chase at 102. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That was
No,
just
you're good.
that
I
was
didn't even
shocking to
know.
me. Yeah. So you're a fan of Nico Collins. You and John are on the Nico Collins train. So who else are you thinking about here at 108 as CD Lamb goes off the board at 103?
I mean, I like Christian McCaffrey. If you're
Okay.
going best ball, who's got a higher ceiling than McCaffrey?
You're not wrong. I've kind of faded McCaffrey a little bit. worried about the age, the injury, the recent injury history, blah, blah, blah. Seeing all of his backups go down, though, has me like a little nervous about that fade. I'm not going to lie.
And the receivers, like, yeah, I mean, we'll see if he falls. Previously, I ended up with a lot of Amon-Ra in this range.
Amon-Ra is a good one.
He's also like just so safe to me.
Yeah, he's going to get the volume. He's going to be a wide receiver one way more weeks than not. Amon-Ra is a great pick too. Let's see who goes here at. Did it freeze for you? Nope, there it is.
Yeah, I did a little.
A little bit, right? Okay. Christian McCaffrey goes at 107 right before you. I know who I'd pick here. But you were on the clock at 108. 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'll go with Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra, okay. I like that pick. Neighbors for me there, it would have been kind of the smash play. But Amon-Ra is also just an incredible player and someone that you can really anchor your team with and feel safe about and feel really, really good about it.
Yeah, that's kind of I used to be super high on Puka. The Stafford news is scaring me a lot.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't mix in a ton of Puka because I normally anything after 107, I'm really trying to get a lot of Malik Neighbors. Maybe Homer is a Giants fan, but yeah, the Matt Stafford news is really kind of a bummer as Nico Collins actually goes off at 112 and Neighbors at 201. That's a great combination, I think.
Puka, yeah, that's a lot of volume.
It sure is. Especially if the Matthew Stafford news kind of turns out to be nothing. Like that start, King Jiggly, like that. Congratulations. How do we come?
I really like the Nico Thomas one too.
Yeah, Brian Thomas is another one. He's kind of fallen out of the first round as the summer's gone on.
All the Travis Hunter hype.
Yeah, I saw you're on the clock here. Derrick Henry. Okay, I like that.
He's like your prime. Just if I want to go here, RB, if it falls that way, I feel like they're gonna run the ball. Every time I try to bet against him, it never works. So I also don't have him a lot, so I kind of like this.
Yeah, good to be different, right? Brock Bowers goes 18. Yeah, never bet against Derrick Henry. He's just different. He's gonna end up being like Tom Brady, where everyone thinks he's gonna play too long and he'll retire before he gets to that point, though.
Yeah, and like it being half PPR versus the full, I don't.
It's a bit more.
I don't mind it as much.
Yeah, it's a bit more palatable as far as Derrick Henry's not going to catch many passes.
Who's on your mind here?
See, this is always tough. Like, I really don't like the 1-2 turn. I'm probably just going to go Josh Jacobs, to be honest. Get a stud running back who should get a lot of volume. I try not to double up on Bengals here because I just don't want to feel like I'm hampered by having to take Joe Burrow at 48-49, which if that's the way you want to build, I think that's probably worth it. And I also just don't want to play the game of chicken. Like, will he fall to 72-73? Because especially in a BBM, like I'd rather just build a team that I know like is going to be good opposed to having to wait. And so Trey McBride's interesting. I might just reach up here and go. I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to reach and kind of take Josh Allen and see where that takes me.
Are you a big like week 17 person?
I see the value in it. And I think I can be if the chips are falling that way in a draft, I will use that as a tiebreaker 100%. But I also recognize that it is so hard to get to week 17 that like you got to get there for it to even matter.
That's kind of in my mindset.
Right. I will say that so in the 2 years this is my third year playing best ball. In the 2 years I've been playing it, I've had a total of 4 week 17 teams. And the two that won big money did happen to have the week 17 correlation. So maybe like that's kind of on the back of my mind where I'll kind of pay attention to it, but I don't prioritize it necessarily. Because like I said, it's just so hard to get there in these contest with like hundreds of thousands of people in it.
Yeah, and this is one thing
You're
I
okay
didn't
with that,
expect to do. Yeah, I am a big fan of. I went really far. Yeah, I went with Lamar because I went really far in some of my season-long leagues. Of I'm guaranteed every rushing touchdown on this team, basically.
That's a smart idea. I really like stacking Lamar Jackson with Henry. I do it a fair amount. Looks like we're kind of starting this draft the same way: receiver, running back, quarterback. Um, so I wonder if we keep that up or if we kind of diversify at a certain point, just depending on how the board falls.
How do you feel like you went big quarterback? Normally, I don't know. For me and DK, I still try to get 3 quarterbacks every time. In this, if
Mhm.
you have a stud, will you try to maybe risk it with 2 or just see how it's
Um, no, I'm definitely gonna have no pressure to grab a quarterback too. I am fine if it happens to work out that like I end up with like a Giants receiver or tight end or like a Saints receiver or tight end or something. I'm perfectly happy just waiting till my last pick and taking either Shuck, Dart, or Russell Wilson when I
got
have an elite quarterback. Because realistically, if Josh Allen goes down, it's going to probably be hard for this team to be successful. And if I double down and use that another pick on even like another like top 100 pick on a quarterback, like that's just and Josh Allen doesn't get hurt, it's like am I kind of just guaranteeing that like a top 100 pick is just a zero every week, and that's going to be tough from a I think from a depth standpoint at other positions. So I'm probably going to wait quite a bit on my second quarterback unless I just get some like insane value somewhere along the way.
I hear you on that. Trying to
Do you
see who.
think do you think you'll end up going with like an elite tight end as you're on the clock now because you an elite quarterback, or are you gonna maybe not punt tight end a little bit as George Kittle's sitting there 4 picks past ADP?
Now, just kind of talking out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super between Worthy and DJ Moore. DJ Moore, he was when I statted him out, he was way higher than I expected. Just because
Okay.
I kind of brought in a little bit of okay, this offense is going to improve, going to look not fully like the Lions, but like I used the Lions and kind of reverted
Mm-hmm.
the Lions very close back to the mean, like the league average, and even then he just looked absurdly good. So he's somebody
Right.
who I like targeting.
Okay. So putting a bet on the model here in best ball and going with Cook or DJ Moore over Worthy. I probably would have went Worthy, but um, you got to trust your model because if you're not going to trust it, who's going to trust it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, let's go with I like Jamison Williams. Speaking of the Lions, I think that I think he ends up being a top 20 receiver this year. Plus, his spike week potential is just so big for best ball.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I am a big Worthy fan. I couldn't, I have DJ Moore like top 10. So I don't have Worthy that high. So I just couldn't really justify it in my own head.
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense. Like I said, I like Worthy a lot better for best ball than I do for managed leagues, and it sounds like your model probably kind of agrees to an extent. Oh, I was
Yeah.
hoping to get Sutton. I'm normally not a bye week bro, but I'm gonna go with Waddle over Pickens. So I don't. The 2 week 10 buys is interesting, and we're kind of at a point now where we're in the last like 30 or so days for drafting, and I
Yeah.
want to start making a push and kind of consciously targeting the players that I believe in and that I want to take a stand on. And Jalen Waddle is just one of those guys. I think that how does your model feel about the two Dolphins receivers? I don't know, like if it takes age and kind of like a decline that has to do with age and a variety of different things into effect, or if it's more just plugging in numbers to a wide receiver one, a wide receiver two, and stuff like that.
I mean, just to give a little background,
Yeah, of
it
course.
uses like an offense. So I have 2 years of offenses last season and the season prior. Like last season, there were way too many injuries. So I almost just kind of skipped last season.
Yeah,
And
there were
I
a strange
use,
amount of injuries last year. Sorry.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm on the clock now. So I just don't want to.
Oh, yeah. Always stop when you're on the clock. You gotta pay attention to that. Rasheed Rice went at 55. Wow. I want to talk about him in a second because he's a guy that's been falling.
Yeah.
But yeah, finish up your thought about the model. A little bit of
But
explanation.
sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, where was I going?
You were talking about how you kind of plug in the last 2 years of offensive
Oh
data.
yeah.
Last year's a bit different because there were some injuries, so grain of salt type deal.
So I used like the year prior's offensive data and then kind of reverted it back to 2025's league average. So like I can pick and choose kind of what I want the like base model, like the base offense to be projected on. Like for example, Chicago. I picked Detroit's offense from 2 years ago and then just kind of reverted it back to the mean. So I can kind of pick and choose what I want to do if coaching changes or any of that comes into play. I can like Ben Johnson's going to take his offense. It's not going to be as good, so you can kind of revert it back to the mean, but that's one thing. That's kind of the start of it, and then everything from there is just honestly like volume based, rushing share and receiving share.
Okay, and so do you think next year, kind of we'll just stick with the Bears offense because that's kind of who we've kind of been talking about and using an example of. You said you kind of reverted it back to the mean a little bit, considering that he's now a head coach somewhere different, new players. It's probably going to take guys a little bit of time to figure it out and get in the groove of things. Next year, are you going to kind of no holds bar like the projection, and you're on the clock? So if you want to take a minute and talk through your pick, and
No,
then my question.
I'm thinking. So I have two very safe running backs. So I want to get a little bit of upside there. So I went with Harvey.
I'm not a big Harvey fan, but I like what you're saying as far as like Derrick Henry and James Conner are both pretty safe. So shoot for the moon on the third one.
Yeah, that was just I'm not the biggest fan to be honest either, but where the value is, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I like Pearsall over Jennings, but I don't know with that offense.
We don't talk about Ricky Pearsall if if I'm not on the clock, and he might go here. That makes me a bit nervous. I talked about kind of targeting guys heavily that I truly believe in, and there he goes at 70. He's one of those guys. I was gonna
Snipe action.
I know, right? That's so upsetting. I'll go David Montgomery. He's a guy. It's just a guy. He's gonna give you points. Maybe not the best ball player, kind of on a week-to-week basis, but sometimes you just need that floor, and that's okay. Plus, there's always the contingency that if Jahmyr Gibbs hits the lottery and decides he doesn't want to play football anymore, David Montgomery probably has like a top,
or if he gets hurt,
like a top 3. I try not to predict injury, but yeah, that's hitting the lottery for me. That's kind of what I mean for these guys because I don't like to put that on anybody, but like if something happens to Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean David Montgomery is like the guy, right?
Yeah, that's early to me with Warren, who went right ahead of you.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna go ahead and we know it's gonna be a 3-game suspension. I don't think it's the end of the world. I missed the pick, but that's okay. I don't think it's the end of the world in terms of his value. You're kind of the most healthy in the first 3 weeks, and I like the 3 receivers I got to fill those positions. I would have went Jaden Reed, but I would have almost felt locked into having to take Jordan Love as I would have had Josh Jacobs as well, and I just didn't really want to be pressured into doing that here.
Yeah, I'm starting to like look at my potential stacks coming up soon too, and I don't
see Lamar's tough if you miss out on Zay Flowers, which is really kind of hit or miss depending where he goes in drafts. I mean, you've kind of got the 2 tight ends. You've got Rashad Bateman, and then you've got maybe like a deep target or by deep I mean deep in drafts, like late in drafts, DeAndre Hopkins and whatnot. So Lamar's an interesting guy to try to stack, and how you're going to kind of try to figure this out here as you're on the clock with a couple seconds left.
I don't
see
like
what you do here ultimately. Yeah, that's See, that's who I would have went. I like Jaden Reed.
He's one of the guys where, I mean, yeah, he's upside. There's so many
Mhm.
people in that offense that have to eat, and maybe he's the guy. He's probably the most talented. He's the type of guy I normally avoid, but
I know he's so frustrating because like he's a really talented player, but
yeah.
for whatever reason, the Packers only use him in 3 wide receiver sets. I'm
Mm.
hoping that'll eventually change, and maybe I'm just banging my head against the wall with some wishful thinking. But um, I don't know, man. I just like the pick, especially in best ball, because he does have such huge upside for like week winning weeks.
Yeah, and I definitely like him, and maybe the fact that Golden's there, he kind of stretches the defense a little bit, and Reed can
Right.
kind of do his stuff in the slot and kind of be that power slot and yards after catch guy. So I don't know. I'll talk myself into it if I have to.
Right. Um, so we see Patrick Mahomes going down here at the 7-8 turn. I wonder he went unstacked, as did Burrow. That's an interesting strategy. And then Kelsey. So he did end up stacking Mahomes. What are you thinking coming back here on the turn? You've got 3 running backs, 3 receivers, and a quarterback.
I'm debating Andrews, but like Mark Andrews, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Doesn't feel like the value's quite there.
Let's see.
I might have to
He goes at
snipe
about
you
I
with
think
Shakir.
100. Mm. That would be okay. You don't owe me anything. I definitely buy the dip on it. The high ankle sprain's a bit concerning, but like he's got plenty of time to recover. And you don't win the money in week 1 unless you're playing weekly winners, which we are not. We are doing Best Ball Mania at a shot for $2 million. Again, be sure to follow us on X at Ethos Fantasy NFL. Hop over on YouTube if you're watching on X. We appreciate the support either way, but you'll definitely be able to watch all of our shows on YouTube and not necessarily X. All right, so I'm up here at pick 95. I've got 2 running backs, 4 receivers, and a quarterback. I know Keon Coleman makes the most sense, right? From like a stacking standpoint, a 5th receiver would be good. I'm just not really a believer, honestly,
I
in
feel you on
what
that.
so what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to go with some upside in Jaden Higgins. He could I mean he's probably at some point going to be the number 2, I think, in the Houston offense.
Mm.
I like Christian Kirk a lot of respect for him. I think he starts out as probably the second target, but I think as the season goes on and Higgins kind of gets adjusted, they kind of go to him a bit more. And now I'll be back on the clock. Don't worry, I'm not going to take Mark Andrews. He's not my favorite. It's not my favorite target, especially if I don't have Lamar. I am going to do. Oh, man. Going to be a bit of a homer, I think. Go Tyrone Tracy. I'm just
Over
completely
Scatterbo.
out. Scadabo's interesting. He's an interesting player. He's a day 3 running back, as was Tyrone Tracy, of course. They drafted him in the 5th round last year. And so the data on day 3 running back suggests that it's a really low hit rate. And so
Mm-hmm.
you hit on one last year, and now you spent another day 3 pick on it this year. Like, what are the odds you hit twice in a row? But I also understand that this is a really deep, running back class as far as the rookies go. So that probably plays into the fact is why some of these guys probably went a little bit later, because teams saw more depth, attacked other positions earlier, knowing that they would have someone they liked at running back in the later rounds. Skatebo is also dealing with a hamstring injury, which is never
I did see
particularly
that.
great.
Yeah.
I just trust Tracy. I know people are going to talk about the fumbles and such, but he did start playing running back. Sorry, I just unplugged my mic. I saw your if there's a little bit of echo. I just saw that now. But he's a converted running back, just kind of still learning to play the position, and he had a great season. They can use him out of the backfield as a pass catcher, which they say scapegoat as well. Also, but I don't know. I'm just in on Tracy a bit more, probably because I've seen him do it. I've seen him be good. What does your model, I think, predict? Do you like take into account rookies and like any sort of
because it's so like questionable on who's going to be the guy? It's just hard for the model to like both of them aren't projected to do well because that offense isn't necessarily projected to do that well. It's pretty much neighbors and no one else.
That makes sense. And realistically, that's a likely outcome for the Giants, right? Is that it's a ton of Malik neighbors and a lot of just randomness, and nobody's really worth it at that point. Yeah. I see you went ETN as I rambled about the Giants running back room, which nobody particularly cares about. He's fallen quite a bit as you're on the clock again here and now.
I'm debating. I don't know how much I like this. I'll go for Shaheed. I mean, Shaheed's a guy that I
love Rashid Shaheed.
I think he's the best. I mean, Olave's the best talent. I just don't think I don't trust him to be healthy. So Shaheed to me is like the definition of a best ball receiver.
Yeah, I like Rashid Shaheed. I'm over 15% Rashid Shaheed, I think.
Fair enough.
So I think that's a great pick. I mean, I take him sometime as high as pick 100 if I need a receiver, and that range is just kind of always tough. I have no idea what I'm going to do here. I like my team. I think we're solid. There's just no obvious choice.
You also haven't hit tight end yet.
I know I haven't, and I don't love. I'm going to go Shea Spears. Just add another upside running back. I'm liking Tucker Kraft a bit more. I know we talked about kind of there being a lot of mouths to feed in Green Bay, but I like him a bit more. There's been a lot of hype about he's the guy, they're going to get him the ball and make that a focal point. And while there's a lot of depth, all that depth comes from the receivers. When you draw up plays for the tight end, he's going to be the guy. You could draw up plays for different receivers, but if you want to go with your tight end, I'm going to reach here for Dalton Kincaid, by the way. Get my first tight end, guy that can realistically be the number one target for Josh Allen.
It's a good stack too.
Yeah, excellent stack. So I'm happy to pull him up around. And yeah, so I think I've kind of got everything filled out, and now it's a matter of just filling out depth everywhere. As I'm kind of rocking a 1-4-5-1 through 11 rounds. And Brian, we're at a point now where the receivers, as you can see, kind of scrolling through the ADP is pretty thin. And I know you kind of took some other positions a little earlier in the draft. So how are you feeling about the receiver room, the options, and having to maybe play a little catch up? Or you feel like you've got a great room, maybe I'm just completely off base?
I mean, I wanted to kind of complete a stack with Goff there. I felt like he kind of fell, so now I have an I
like that.
Amon-Ra with Goff. That makes me feel a little better. I think I'm pretty safe.
You're just guaranteeing high-end quarterback play on this team. Is
essentially and I don't feel the need with Goff to get a third quarterback. So
no.
And then I can just kind of take shot. I'm going to need a third tight end. My tight end group is nowhere to be seen at the moment, but
yeah, at this point you're definitely going to need three. I might need three unless I want to take one within the next 2 rounds, a guy that I really like, but I'll probably end up with 3 as well. But I'm only taking 2 quarterbacks, even if it's just the last round, just to add somebody on for bye week filler or what have you.
I'm trying to find.
So we're kind of starting to see some guys that I wanted to talk a little bit about as far as ADP shifts. I know you took Travis Etienne, but we've seen Tank Bigsby rise, at least on Underdog. He's up 20, 30 picks now as he just went, right? Yeah, 133.
Is your model kind of a mess for the Jaguars running backs too? Because there are 3 of them, right, that are realistically gonna probably get some work. So how do you project those guys? And is obviously ETN is the guy as far as ADP, but is he the guy as far as your model goes too?
No, I mean they're all kind of similar. I feel like I've heard some pretty good news on ETN, and to me, I feel like worst case he kind of gets that Rashad White role from the Tampa. So that feels kind of high floory to me. I feel like I need a tight end here. I don't like unstacked, but Ferguson, I feel like he could a second or third option on that team. Dak likes to throw to his tight ends. Kind of happy there. I was debating Pitts to just go super high upside, but
I'm a big Kyle Pitts fan this season at cost. I was hoping to get Josh Palmer. I'm surprised you didn't go Goddard over Ferguson. As an Eagles fan, maybe you kind of realize that.
He's just always hurt.
Yeah. Ferguson's probably a bit safer, I think, too, as far as fantasy goes.
And when my tight end room looks like this, I'm gonna try to stay a little bit safer.
Yeah, I am gonna go ahead and take Pitts here. By the way, I was hoping to get Palmer. He went a couple picks before me, but so Kyle Pitts, I think, is just kind of the next best guy there.
Yeah, I mean there are a few of the rookie tight ends who I'm a fan of.
Mm-hmm. Like, are you talking about later or like are you talking about
later?
Okay.
I'm not a.
Oh. Braylon Allen went at 144. Cam Ward. That's taking a stand, I think. All right.
I mean, they are the end, so maybe they just didn't think they would last. But
you know what? We'll take the Hollywood value, right? Hollywood's a guy I like. I think he's interesting. It's all right. Good. It's a good thing I queued him up because I missed hitting the draft button. I think he could have some spike weeks in that Kansas City offense. He's just really got to stay healthy. But I don't love that pick for me. But this range is kind of just, I think, a mess in itself.
Yeah, it's pretty hit or miss.
And Hollywood Brown around discount is fine with me, I think.
I was looking for Bateman, but I guess he went already.
Yeah, Bateman normally goes in like the 1-teens. At this point, do you have anyone to stack with Lamar? Not yet.
Not yet.
No, you're on the clock now. That's why you were looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh, taking the Quinton Judkins bullet. Do you think he's going to end up playing this year? Obviously, none of us are experts on like the domestic violence or legal situation or anything. Just is that just a point for you? Were you at the point where like the risk is just worth the reward with whoever's left on the board?
Yeah, I have 5 pretty safe, or I have 4. I have 4 kind of safe-ish running backs. So him being my 5th, it's more of an upside play. No one else really stuck out to me. So I don't know, take an upside play, hope for the best. But
yeah, it's definitely a pretty tough range. I'm looking here at the board, and I was going to suggest that you look for Likely, but he went in the 11th round,
he went annoyingly early.
Yeah, he's been falling too because he just broke his foot. And I was also going to suggest Keaton Mitchell towards the end, but he went in the 14th round. So you're kind of
Justice. Wow.
Justice Hill went too. Oh man,
he got them both.
What are we? Oh, he also took Bateman. He might.
I guess he's a Ravens fan. He has Bateman. Yeah.
Does that low key feel like a waste of a Puka Neighbors start? If you like kind of look down I know you're on the clock, so in a second he went Puka Neighbors, Wilson, Kyron Williams, Stephon Diggs, which I think is a fine start. Went Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Bateman, Ingram, Likely, Bigsby, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. Like it kind of feels like we're kind of teetering on the point of like, I don't know, it just feels like an interesting team to me.
Like, did I snipe him from getting
Yeah, that might be it. He's just going full revenge on you because you might have sniped him somewhere along the line, and
Like from getting Lamar, maybe. I don't know.
maybe Lamar though isn't really like the worst guy to have unstacked, right? Because he's a lot of his value comes from the rushing, and they typically spread the ball out a lot. They don't have like a guy that like they target super heavy now that Mark Andrews is kind of in the second half of his career. So if you can't end up getting D Hop late in the draft, if you even really want to take that route, like Lamar Jackson is not the worst dude in the world to have unstacked.
Yeah, I mean, I have him queued up just because he's somebody to stack, but I'm not loving it. But
Right. Yeah. He's just, I mean, at that point, what if you get like 1 or 2 weeks out of your 16th round pick, like you're probably feeling pretty decent, right?
it's like, do I want that or do I want Tesla to stack with potential golf? Tesla's higher ceiling, way lower floor, but
I mean, you could probably get both, but I hear what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like it's at this point, you're kind of just playing a game, right? I mean, hey, maybe Lamar finds DeAndre Hopkins for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns one game this season, right? And then you're probably feeling pretty good about it. Man,
7 receivers. Are you done with it, or you keep going?
This position stinks, so I am just gonna go ahead and take my darling Rico Dowdle, reach way up the board. I don't know. I might add a 7th receiver to answer your question. I might add a 7th. I picked Jaden McMillan. There on the.
We have 7 now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I picked Jaden McMillan on the first side of that turn to get me to 7. I'll kind of see how it goes. I'll see. Maybe I'll add on an 8th. I don't know if I'm going to go with a 3rd tight end yet either, or how many running backs I want to finish with. So I think I have a lot of flexibility with this team at the moment.
Yeah, I was looking at Ford, who just went. Everyone likes Dylan Sampson just in case Quinshon's out.
Yeah,
I feel like Ford will get some more of the like he'll be a bit more trusted to be in on passing downs, which you just are more likely to get some drop off.
And so who are you now that Ford's gone? Yeah, you've got to make a different selection. And so were you thinking of Ford solely because you have Judkins and kind of just to handcuff that situation, or were you what were you thinking there as far as wanting Ford and 2 guys from the same backfield?
I wasn't even really thinking about the Judkins at first. I just like his value there, but I mean, now that I have Judkins, it probably wouldn't have made sense anyways after looking at it. But I don't know. I heard good things about Mason Taylor. Obviously, he just got hurt. So, but I have 2 older, safer tight ends. So Taylor, I'm hoping is kind of the upside play. So I have Ferguson, Henry, and Taylor. I don't hate that tight end room as a whole, given how long I waited. Now I just kind of go for some upside plays at receiver.
Yeah, I really like your tight end room. I think Ferguson, like I said, I think Ferguson is good. He could be the second target some weeks. I like Hunter Henry, and then Mason Taylor, as long as he can recover from that high ankle sprain and it doesn't linger all season, he's probably the number 2 target for the Jets at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, coming up here, I don't know. I've heard things about Woody Marks. I don't know.
I like Woody Marks a lot. I think he ends up probably being the starting running back at a certain point in Houston. I've got over 10% Woody Marks at the moment.
I think I'm gonna go there. I was between him and Sanders. I'm not positive Javante's getting that role. I mean, I don't think Sanders is that great anyways, but I feel like Sanders is he looks like what people want their running back to look like, even though he hasn't done that much other than behind the Eagles' offensive line. So,
wait, I'm in a tough
you go with Wandell?
Probably not. To be honest, the ADP value is looking really nice, but honestly, probably not. I'm really in a pickle with my QB2 because I don't have anybody. I have not a single option.
You got an upside play there.
You've convinced me. And he's a guy. Anthony Richardson is going to be the pick here. I actually really like not Jaden Daniels. I really like Daniel Jones. I think better. I think he's going to end up being more consistent and probably give the Colts a better chance to win, whether we want to admit it or not. And the Colts coaching staff is coaching for their jobs, right? So they're going to want to take the guy that is going to give them the better chance to win. And I will go ahead and just stack him with Alec Pierce. Call it a day. But Anthony Richardson. Yeah. Go ahead.
To me, I feel like this screams to me. Richardson starts the season. He does poorly. Coaching staff tries to save their butt. They put in Daniel Jones. Then they get fired because the team's just not that good. And then their interim puts back in Anthony Richardson because why are we going to play Daniel Jones if he's for sure not the long term?
Yeah,
Maybe Anthony Richardson learn something.
Like we know Daniel Jones isn't that great. Like,
yeah, he's a solid backup.
Yeah, solid backup, but starting quarterback, not so much. And I'm looking at it now, just kind of on my roster. I got a nice little 22 big discount there on Anthony Richardson and a BBM. So ultimately, I guess you can't really hate that, right?
No, not at all.
I was going to, before you said about, do you hear my dog whining?
I do not actually.
By the way, oh, okay. He's just sitting here. You ended up going D-Hop. All right, we've got a Lamar stack.
He fell far enough. I was debating him a few rounds earlier just to get something, but he kept falling, so I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I think he's a fine pick at 200, right? Like I think it's a good pick. I don't even really remember what. Oh, I was going to talk about Seattle for a second. Before you kind of convinced me to go Richardson, I was probably just going to go with Sam Darnold, and then who's still on the board here in the 200s in the 18th round, which I think is kind of wild. But I was going to go with him and then stack him with Arroyo and either MVS or Horton here at the end, but it didn't play out that way. And I think in a BBM, the higher upside in Richardson was probably a better play. So thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Are you going to go get a third or?
No, I'm not going to get a third quarterback. I am perfectly happy with the two quarterback room with Josh Allen leading the way. I'm trying to decide if I want a third tight end or a sixth running back. Like that's the decision that I'm going to be facing here.
I guess I'll go Tesla.
Yeah, so you ended up with a 2-6-7-3. I like adding Tesla there on the end.
I was between him or getting more running back upside with Monungai, or I feel like Kareem Hunt's a value at this point in the draft.
I don't.
Because what if he's just has kind of that third down role, the trusted role on that team again?
I just don't know how I feel about. I just don't know how I feel about the Chiefs running back situation at all. Brashard Smith is probably the guy that I target just because it's kind of the unknown rookie mystery box and an explosive.
Shipley's the number 2.
You said what?
Oh, Shipley just went, but I was saying.
Yeah, he went at 213. He was on my mind for that week 17 correlation. This is where I was like, know, I don't really like Will Shipley. I don't really take him, but it makes sense here. But then he ended up going. There aren't any running backs that I really love. All the targets I liked late go earlier than this now. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the third tight end. Take Theo Johnson. He's kind of the last. He's the last guy here at tight end that is going to be the starter for the team, right? That could be that number one option. Okay, so the draft is over. Brian and I will each kind of go through our teams. I ended up with a 2-5-8-3 build with the quarterbacks being Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson. My running back room is Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Tyrone Tracy, Tajay Spears, and Rico Dowdle. My receivers are Jamar Chase at 102, Jameson Williams, Jalen Waddle, Jordan Addison, Jaden Higgins, Hollywood Brown, Jalen McMillan, and Alec Pierce. And then the 3 tight ends are Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, and Theo Johnson. Brian, what does your team look like?
I am quarterbacks 2, or I did a 2-6-7. So quarterbacks Lamar and Goff. Probably went a little higher than I need to on the second QB, but because my first wide receiver was Amon-Ra, I felt like I enjoyed that stack. Running backs, pretty safe, honestly. I have like older names in Derrick Henry, James Conner, and Travis Etienne, 2 rookies in RJ Harvey and 3 rookies in RJ Harvey, Quinshon Judkins, and Woody Marks. So a little bit of safe and upside. I actually really enjoy that running back room. Wide receivers, I just kind of went target share based. So at least for the first 4 picks, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed, hoping for the best, and then Khalil Shakir. He's, to me, he's the wide receiver 1, whether it's ugly or not. That's the wide receiver 1 at the moment for Josh Allen. So it's, to me, seems valuable. Shaheed is just kind of a lottery pick. Hope for the best. I can see him at least being rostered twice or having 2 weeks where he's a starter. So, and then D-Hop and Tesla are just more stacks just in case.
Yeah, just kind of emergency stacks, fill out the room.
Yeah.
With
tight ends. Yeah. Yeah, tight ends are just Ferguson, Henry, Mason Taylor. Taylor's kind of my upside play, and Ferguson and Henry. I don't like that I don't have any stacks on my tight end QBs. That's kind of like what I prefer to do, is get the QB tight end stacks, but it didn't fall. People were pretty high on the Ravens. The one guy was very high on the Ravens players, so
right.
I'll take what I can get.
Okay, so why do you favor stacking tight ends with the quarterback above kind of maybe some other positions per se?
Because I feel like unless you're a top tier tight end, the reason you're going to be a starter is because you got a touchdown. So if you received a touchdown, that means you're quarterback 3 you won. So that's 10 points. That's kind of like, unless I'm going for a McBride or a Bowers. And to me, like, I know some people are super high on Kittle. To me, it's a very clear McBride, Bowers, then McBride is the first tier, then Kittle is his own, and then kind of after that, it's a few different, probably like the older guys and Andrews, Kelsey, etc. So if I'm not getting the top 3, then I just kind of want a shotgun approach and just get tight ends who can fall in the end zone.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go as far as head end as well. That's kind of what I do too. I think I probably took a slightly higher talent as far as my tight ends than you did per se, just because I took them a little bit earlier. But I kind of took the same approach with Kincaid, Pitts, and Theo Johnson. All guys that could be high target earners on their offense. All guys that could have a splash week.
Yeah, especially Kincaid with Allen. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I was happy to reach around for that for him. Just because I didn't really like a lot of the players there for the build that I was in. And I wanted to make sure I got someone to pair with Josh Allen. I think that was good. Brian, one question before we kind of shut down shop here. We're going on about an hour. Did you enjoy yourself as a new best ball player? Like, did you enjoy it? Did you learn something? You gonna play a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I put money in, so no, I definitely did. It's funny how, like, I mean, this is everybody, like, how annoyed you can get at someone. Like, why did this one random dude just get 4 Baltimore Ravens in 5 rounds? Like,
yeah, all above ADP just so you couldn't take them.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny how that works out. I mean, I enjoy, like, the one earlier, I never had to pick one. So, like, I enjoyed that draft. The fun part for me is kind of picking in different spots. Right. I like to avoid the 7 to 9 range just because I'm in that a lot. But this is definitely a different team than I've ever had. I mean, stuff's kind of constantly changing. All of the ADPs and stuff like that. I ended up with a rushing quarterback again. Like I said, normally I wouldn't, but I do.
Yeah. You said you prefer to have 3 pocket passers and ended up going Lamar Jackson, bang, 3rd round, right off the rip.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a
that.
Great pick. Like I'm not knocking it.
Yeah, I won 2 leagues last season with having Hurts and Saquon.
Oh,
where
that's beautiful.
Where like every rushing touchdown on that team, on a run heavy team with a great offensive line, I had.
I mean, you had every Eagles touchdown because half of it was Jalen Hurts passing the ball too. So like you had a part of every single Eagles touchdowns, and I don't know the exact number, but I'm willing to bet they scored a lot.
Yeah, and especially at the end of the season when the defense was doing well, like they ran the ball a lot. So I'm almost hoping this is kind of that version of it. I mean, if it weren't for Saquon and Hurts last season, like it would have been Henry was like everyone's favorite player. So it's just kind of that kind of play. It's maybe it's nostalgic for me.
You're hoping to get that this year, just in Baltimore instead of Philly.
Yeah, and like I live closer to Baltimore anyway, so
maybe do the Eagles play in Baltimore? Maybe you can go catch a road game down there.
I think they played last year. So I don't think they play this season. Yeah.
That's a bummer. I'm down here near Charlotte, and the Giants played the Panthers.
There you go.
It was last year, right? And I was like, man, I'm going to go. Like, I'm pretty excited. And then when the schedule came out, they went to Germany. That was the game. And I was just like, oh, my goodness.
That sucks. Yeah.
I was like, I really like I like that they do the games overseas, but I was like, it had to be this one.
Yeah, like I'm not normally like, I'd almost prefer not to go to like, I mean, I say that I went to the Super Bowl this year, so that was fun.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hold on. We gotta hold on. Time out. I was gonna try to end the show because we're at a little over an hour, but no. How was the Super Bowl? Like you went?
I mean, it was amazing. Like it was.
As an Eagles fan too, I'm sure it was that much better. Probably the reason why you forced the issue to go. But like, how was that? My God.
I mean, it was like I'm happy they won because it's like I went with my cousin and uncle have season tickets to Philly. Like most of my family's in the Philly area.
Very cool.
But like I went with them. They went to the previous Super Bowl that we lost to the Chiefs. Okay. So they were kind of like, oh, maybe we'll go, probably not. And I was like, well, if you do end up going, like, let me know. I guess I'll go with. And then
I guess I'll go with you to the Super Bowl.
Then they decided to pull trigger on it, and it was. I mean, it's definitely a once in a lifetime thing. Like, we had the tickets we got had like the pre-concert, so like, I'm like,
oh, so you had the experience.
Yeah, like I forget. I think it's FanDuel Kick of Destiny. Like that was just like you could watch it.
Oh wow.
Marshawn Lynch was like playing catch with kids, and like you're just like around a bunch of people in the downtown city. You just like walk past random like stars. Okay. So like that was the cool part of it. The game was just nerve-wracking because we're up by so much that it's like I don't want to be the team that blows this.
Oh, yeah. There's always that. Like, we can't be the Falcons. Like, we can't.
Yeah, but then the Cooper DeJean pick 6 just kind of sealed it. Like, I bought myself a Cooper DeJean Super Bowl jersey as like, you made my experience way better, where it's just you can enjoy it after that.
That's a nice little memento, right? Because, like, I mean, I'm sure it's a jersey of your favorite team, so like that's pretty cool, right? But like, you kind of got a specific player that has like a specific moment that's kind of ingrained in your football fandom as, a pick 6 in the Super Bowl that you were at that they won. Like that's really cool. No, I think that
all season I wanted. I was like, I want to get Saquon, just like he did all this, and I was like, I feel like I have to go to DeJean after that pick 6.
Yeah, and it's always good to be a little bit different with the jerseys. I mean, a Saquon jersey would have hit different, I'm sure, for Philly fans. I have an autographed giant Saquon jersey that's currently hanging in my closet. But yeah, no, that's always cool. Really glad you got to experience Super Bowl. I've always said if the Giants get there again, because I was in high school the 2 times that they went, so like I didn't really have the money like that, or like the, I guess, ability to make that decision like that. Like my parents are gonna be like, nah, bro, like you got to go to school the next day, right? Now that I'm like an adult, I've always said if the Giants get the Super Bowl, like I don't care where it is, like I am going to find a way to get there. So I'm really like I'm happy for you that you got to experience that.
And I like, especially as like, I mean, we're doing a podcast about fantasy. Like, we're football fans. I feel like it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Oh yeah,
Would I do it again? Probably not. But like, that's just because
you did
like
it.
I
You
did
went.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did it. I had a great time. It was awesome. Like, and like
right.
I was even gonna say prior to, like, I'm not a big, like, if I go to a football game, I almost don't want to go to my teams because like I want it to be like the social aspect where like you tailgate, you do all that stuff. But like
Mhm.
I'm watching the Eagles, I want to be like in on it.
You trying to watch the game, right? And
Yeah,
I think what
like
we all love going to sporting events, you know, the atmosphere, the camaraderie, like it's all great. Like you said, the social aspect, but like
yeah,
if you're trying to like sit down and like watch the game, like live isn't always the best for that
yeah,
per se. So I completely get that. I mean, shoot, I'd go to I would have went to the Super Bowl last year if I had an opportunity. Like I don't if I
yeah,
go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to the Super Bowl. But like if the Giants ever get there, like I'm gonna force the issue.
yeah. And like, yeah, I don't have kids yet, so there was like this was the perfect
Yeah.
timing where I'm out of college enough, I have money, and I don't have kids yet, and all the responsibilities. Like, I can do this.
Yeah, no, man, that's super cool. I'm glad we got to chat about that for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Any other closing remarks, Brian? Anything
No,
else
this
going
is fun. I mean, I'm down to try this again for sure. Hopefully,
Very
I won't draft a rushing quarterback after I said I wanted 3 shotgun pocket passers, but
I know, right? I feel like that happens sometimes, like when you're on, like when I'm on stream talking about like a draft, like, oh, like I prefer to do this, or like I like doing this, and then like the way the draft falls is like I do the complete opposite thing. But that just shows like it's good. You have to be flexible, and it's good to
yeah.
not be sold on one plan because you never know how the draft is going to go.
Yeah, and it's different. You probably feel this. You probably feel this way too. Like, it's different when you have the pick in front of you. Like, yeah, I have rankings, but like, who am I really going to get? If I see Lamar standing there, to me, he's like the number 1 quarterback by far.
Right.
I'm going to get Lamar.
Yeah. Like you said, you know, there are rankings, but when you're on the clock and you're trying to build a team, like sometimes you just want to build it a little bit different. And maybe in most of your drafts, like you said, you prefer the pocket passers, but like, hey, you know what? I don't love these picks at the moment. Let's go with Lamar Jackson and see what happens. And I think you ended up with a pretty good team. We'll kind of see if either one of us advance. I'm going to keep note of this league and of our teams, see if any of us advance to the playoffs for Best Ball Mania and try to win us some money. Thank you all for tuning in again to the Fantasy NFL Today Show in the room. You can follow me on Twitter at AQFresh. You can follow us again on Twitter at Ethos Fantasy NFL. Brian is at Shade_fantasy. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next Thursday as we'll do another draft, have some more fun, and go from there. But until then, happy drafting, everybody.